Have you ever looked at your life and thought, what if every single thing I went through, every high, every low, was part of God's preparation? I've been asking myself that question a lot lately because when I look back at 2024, I don't just see a year, I see a story that only makes sense when I look at it through God's eyes. But the thing about God's stories, they are not always easy to read when you're in the middle of the chapter. Have you ever watched an artist at work? Maybe a painter, a sculptor, or even a chef. When they start, it doesn't look like much, does it? Just a blank of canvas, a block of clay, or a pile of ingredients. It's messy, confusing, or even chaotic at times. But to the artist, it's all part of the process. That's exactly what this year felt like for me, a masterpiece in the making. But in the middle of it, oh, it felt messy. I remember a moment that year, 2024, when everything felt like it was falling apart. Plans I had carefully laid out just didn't work. I felt like I was standing in the middle of a half-finished painting, wondering if the artist had given up on me. But what I didn't realize was that God was not done yet. He was still adding strokes onto the canvas, still shaping the clay, still preparing something far much greater than I could even see. And that's the thing about God. His process doesn't always make sense, but his results always do. If there is one thing I've learned in 2024 is that God loves to work in the waiting. And let me tell you, I spent a lot of 2024 in what felt like a waiting room. You know that feeling, right? Sitting there waiting for your name to be called, wondering if anyone even knows you're there. That's how it felt like for me in 2024. I was waiting for answers and waiting for direction, waiting for God to move, and some days it felt like nothing was happening at all. But here's the thing about God's waiting room. It's never wasted time. In those quiet moments, he was working behind the scenes, preparing things I couldn't even imagine. And more than that, he was preparing me. So if you're in a waiting season right now, I want you to know this. God has not forgotten you. He's not late. He's working on something extraordinary. Just hold on. One day I got an opportunity I wasn't even looking for. An opportunity that made me realize how much bigger God's plans are than mine. And it wasn't because I deserved it or because I had everything figured out. It was because God saw something in me I couldn't even see in myself. That's what I love about him. He doesn't just give you what you ask for, he gives us what we didn't even know we needed. But here's the part that really gets me. What if 2024 wasn't the destination? What if it was just the beginning? I've been thinking about this a lot lately, how sometimes we treat life like it's a series of a finish line. But what if God doesn't see it that way? What if he's building, always creating, always preparing us for something greater? What if everything you've been through, every win, every loss, every tear, was part of the preparation for what's coming next? So here's what I want to leave with you. Don't give up on the process. Don't walk away from the masterpiece. And don't lose hope in the waiting room, because God is working even when you cannot see. And what he's preparing for you is going to be worth it. What are you trusting God for in 2025? Share it in the comments. I would love to hear your story. And if this message encouraged you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that their masterpiece is still in progress.